Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, we have an episode today, and we were kind of talking about what we wanted to talk about. And I was thinking, you know, I'm kind of rooting for like a large cataclysm or war to take place.
You were looking out the window and you were like, I'm kind of like just voting for like a huge cataclysm.
It's like not
Not to be confused with catechism.
No, no, no. I'm not
Cat
voting for catechism.
cataclysm.
I want a big catechism to come. Just like I want everyone to be Catholic. No, I want it. I kind of want like everything to be set right by one big earthquake or war. I think that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
not that we want like a disaster, but I think everybody's kind of feeling what we're feeling. Like it feels like things aren't right and you're frustrated and you just want change.
Yeah,
And so you're looking out the window and you're like maybe like just some huge cataclysm,
totally.
like earthquake, hurricane,
Like if there
something
was just a
to reset
gnarly,
us.
totally like a hurricane came in or like a gnarly flood, and it would almost be like yes.
And it just washed away all the evil.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because right now everything's so lame and corrupt that if the status quo just stays the way it is, it's just so miserable.
It just sort of gets rancid.
It does.
It gets rotten
You
and
know what it feels
rancid
like?
and moldy.
Yeah. It feels like if you leave um hollandaise sauce out in the sun
Oh my God, that was like probably the worst thing you could leave out.
and it gets all rancid and
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah. And then you try to make eggs Benedict.
Yeah. And then you just totally puke. That's kind of what our society is. Our society is hollandaise sauce left out in the sun.
Ugh,
That's what it is.
so gross.
So today we are thinking, look, so I was looking through some of the news stories, and one of them is like, Brad Pitt, dude, Brad Pitt's ongoing like war with um Angelina Jolie almost sounds like it might be real. That might not be just script. She just might be a maniacal like monster.
I think she might be.
Because every time I look at what he's going through, I'm almost feeling sorry for him, dude. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude,
Well, isn't she the one that was like all over her brother at one of the award shows and
yeah,
they had like vials of each other's blood or something. Or no, she was married to Billy Bob Thornton. What was his name? Billy Bob. Yeah,
Billy Bob Thornton.
and they had like vials of each other's blood like around their necks.
He's such a
Wasn't that what they were up
Billy
to?
Bob Thornton is one of those dudes who is so enamored with the culture club and so desperate to be in.
Yeah,
And
he'll do anything, even have a vial of blood around his neck.
so maybe she's his handler, and maybe his blood is like the blackmail that they have on him.
Maybe. Well, they're not, they got divorced and then she married Brad Pitt. And you're right, though. It does look, I mean, he's totally like, he sold his soul a long time ago. He even said that, I
On
think.
Rolling Stone
Yeah.
magazine, he goes, my career really took off when I sold my soul to Satan.
Hmm.
And the interviewer goes, good, good, good. So then tell me more about, Thelma and Louise. No,
Yeah.
I would like to unpack that a little bit.
Yeah,
Like if I was
I would have been
interviewing
like, wait a second, what? You sold your soul to
him,
Satan? Tell me more about that. How did that go down?
he just glosses over that
Yeah.
really quick and then
People
moves on.
see when like famous people say stuff like that, people hear it and think like, "Oh, it's funny, it's a joke," or they didn't mean it. But, just like when Bill Gates was saying, "We can reduce the population with vaccines and healthcare." I
We
mean,
do a really good job with reproduction
yeah.
and healthcare. So
And
we're gonna give you schmortions and Maxines.
mhm.
He's not joking.
They're not joking.
It's not a metaphor.
They're saying what they mean. I think they have no filters, and I think
Or they have to come out and say stuff.
I think
Satan makes them come out and reveal stuff.
I think that too. I think both of those things. I think like some of them, like Chrissy Teigen, I think she's just probably
Yeah.
not very smart, and she just like blurts like really awful things
She's
out.
like vaguely Asian, right?
I don't even know. Some people say she's not even a she. Who knows? But
Oh, well, like we saw that one story where they're like, well, they inject the elites with
with
like
while they're pregnant,
while they're pregnant. It's like, so right at the moment of conception. So first of all, how do they know like you conceived? Like I got a girl pregnant one time. It was my ex-wife and we had a daughter. We didn't know the instant of inception of conception.
right?
It wasn't like I got like this like oh get like a notification on your phone you have conceived.
They'll probably start that soon.
You get a conception notification.
Well, maybe they do it like soon after or something. But
So then they go, okay, oh, good, good. You're an elite and you're pregnant. So according to this post, all the elites are from the same bloodline, which could be true.
I think it could be.
Could be true.
Yeah.
So then, right when one of them gets pregnant, they get injected, and then it turns their kid that was going to be a dude into a chick,
Or vice versa.
or vice versa. So it's like they invert God's
Creation.
creation,
Hmm.
right? So I don't know. It's just like it's all this manipulation and stuff and all this weird stuff. But the reason I was thinking about it in the context of this episode is I was looking at one of Angelina Jolie's weird third world adopted kids that's a trans. And I was just like, I was like, look at that kid's perfect, dude. He's like a rich, not white tranny.
Right.
That's perfect.
That's what the culture club wants.
He's never going to reproduce. He's never going to rock the boat.
Right.
He's just going to go out. Like if they tell that dude, they all got weird names. I don't even know the dude's
Yeah.
name. It's one of Angelina's kids that he's like, I'm dropping my Pitt last name because I don't want to be affiliated with that evil white man, Brad.
Yeah.
So the point of this episode that we came up with was they don't want us to reproduce or be white.
Right.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
They don't want you to reproduce and they don't want you to be white.
Yeah.
Everything else is fine.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want as long as you don't reproduce or are white.
So they're sort of socially engineering both of those things out of our society and out of our culture.
I think so.
And the movie stars are the influencers, and they're facilitating this by being the example. Because look at all these movie stars who have these adopted children from various third world countries, and also look at all the movie stars that have transy children. Why do so many movie stars and, famous people have transy children now? They never had those in like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. You never saw that. But now suddenly it's like an epidemic. That's not organic.
Cher was on the cutting edge with
Oh
Chaz.
yeah. But but she I don't even know what that is cuz I heard recently that um it was a girl that turned into a dude, right?
Chaz?
Yeah. But I heard recently that it was actually originally a boy and it was just going back to its original gender.
It's kind of like playing Texas Hold'em. Like you don't know what the river card is going to be. You just
No.
got to bet on it.
But anyway, I think that it's not organic. This is a trend. This is a trend, and
It's so weird.
they're
What a
doing it
weird
on
trend.
purpose. Yeah, they're doing it on purpose because this definitely when movie stars and famous people do things, all the followers, the minions, the little people in the world, like so many of them want to follow and they want to be just like the movie stars. So it's like, well, if Angelina Jolie has a trans and Charlize Theron has a trans and Jennifer Garner has a trans, I want one too, you know? So I could make my kid a trans.
It's part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You ever heard that song?
Yeah.
And he goes, I work for the people who want to control the population. Is
Hmm.
a line kind of like that in that song. And he reveals the method
Yeah, that
in
song
that
is
song.
full of little tidbits.
So he's revealing the method and he's saying basically these people want to control the population.
Yeah.
So he's even saying that. And I think Californication probably came out in like 2005, something like that. When did that album come out?
I was gonna say late 90s, but yeah, maybe 2005. It was, it's been out a while.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So basically, he was revealing the method all the way back then. And I think back in 2005, if you would have said that the elites want to reduce the population dramatically, people would push back against that and be kind of like, but now they have this different reaction to it.
Uh-huh.
It's like resignation and, well, what are you going to do about it? Let me just take my blue pill.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
that's it.
You're right. Because so now I don't think people dismiss the notion that the elites want to reduce the population. I think they're resigned to it.
I think so too.
And they're just kind of like, well, what are you going to do about
Which is a terrible, it's a very defeatist attitude and way to live is to just accept this terrible fate that we've been plopped into. You know what I mean?
it?
Like,
We've been demoralized and just acted
yeah.
like, well, there's nothing you can do about it. So let's just go play some cornhole and drink some beer.
Yeah,
That's, I think, what it is.
I think so. And it is daunting because, they have so much control over us, but they really don't unless we give it to them.
Well,
You know?
that's it. That's it. Like, Jerome Powell just ended his tenure as the Fed chairman, and he came out and he was like, people need to cherish democratic institutions, like universities and courts, but also the Fed. We need to cherish the Fed. You know what I'm saying?
Cherish the Fed.
And so they're kind of like managing our you know what I think it is? They don't want us to get agitated.
I think so.
It's like the lady at the mental hospital where in that one book by Anne Rice where she was visiting her mom
Hmm.
and she's like, "Why do you give them so many psychotropic drugs?" And she's like, "We don't want them to get agitated."
Yeah. Just keep them doped up so they don't really feel anything. Give
Right.
them their soma.
There's so much.
Hmm.
I think that's what people have to take these days
Hmm.
because it's getting to the point now where if you're not agitated, you are totally comatose.
Yeah,
You have to be agitated.
it's like you're either neutered or you're not.
Neutered or not, that should be a shirt.
But you know what I was thinking? So I was talking to you earlier about maybe a whole episode on this, but I think maybe I'm just going to interject this into this one. Um, I feel like they've, I know we've touched on this before, but I feel like they've been somatizing us for a while. And um, I noticed like, so I had the cooties, whatever that is. I think it's poisoning of some sort. Either poisoning through like the water like Ryan Artist talked about or chemtrails or actually I
Food,
think yeah,
in food.
I think there's a high possibility that it is like a radio wave frequency because all of these flu epidemics and pandemics came out at the same time as an increase in radio frequency, like the Spanish flu,
Hmm.
the 1918 flu. Um, and cooties too is when 5G rolled out and they were installing that everywhere.
And the Spanish flu started at a military base in Kansas.
Yeah. So I don't know. Whatever the cooties was, I did have it. I was like patient zero. I caught it really early and I was sick. Like had like a high fever for like 2 weeks. It was weird.
No,
Like it's not a normal thing, you know what I mean?
that's not the way like a normal flu or cold
No,
behaves.
it was like over a week and a half going on 2 weeks. Like probably like 11 or 12 days, I had a fever of almost
Like your
102.
body was fighting something it had never fought off before.
Yeah. But you know what was weird was, and I remember this so specifically because um, we had been to Vancouver, and I think that's where a lot of it was kind of starting. And
A lot of Chinese people down.
yeah, and came back, and the plane, they like threw my suitcases off the plane, basically, and they were like they were like broken, and like my clothes were falling out, and it
No
was like
way.
midnight, and it was so gnarly because I was so sick. I had this horrible fever, and I was coughing, and I was like thinking, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get off this plane. Like it was so gnarly. And it was at, Santa Barbara Airport. So it's kind of small, and you have to like walk down the steps onto the tarmac,
Oh, dude,
you know,
totally.
at midnight, and it was cold. It was like the beginning of January. And my clothes, I go to get my bags, and my clothes were like spilling all over the baggage claim, and I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, I got home, and I was so sick for a couple weeks, but I was trying to file this claim to because it was a brand new suitcase that I had bought right before the trip.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went online, I think it was American Airlines, to see if I could get them to somehow compensate me. And they make it nearly impossible to like get any kind of compensation for something like that. Like you have to turn in receipts, you have to somehow prove like what was in your bag. And I've like looked at it, and it was like my brain could not like
Deal
focus.
with it.
I couldn't wrap my head around any of the information I was reading, and it was so weird. I was just like, I can't deal with this, whatever. I don't even care. I just like said whatever. And it was like a weird feeling that I couldn't focus. And I felt that way for a while. It was like I just had like this brain fog that people talked about, where I
Yeah.
just couldn't really like. And what's weird is I feel like that a lot now, sometimes still. Like I feel like sometimes I just lose focus, and I never used to be like that. And I think they're spraying us. And
I think so too.
I think that the majority of people don't realize this and probably don't even care. And they're just walkers, and they're getting sprayed and somatized. And that's exactly where they want people.
Totally.
But I think for people like us, we're conscious of this, and we know, and we have to constantly be consciously fighting off the
The malaise.
the malaise, and the poisoning that's happening, and um the somatizing, because
Yeah, turning everyone into Dory.
they're turning everybody into Dory. I think they want everybody to have Dory syndrome. And I sometimes I catch myself like, I'm like, wait a second, that's not normal. Like, why did I just like zone out right there? Why did I forget that? Like, I really think that they are
Brain
zapping
fog
us.
was one of the side effects of cooties that they said they were
Yeah.
like, oh, because my dad had brain fog, and the doctor was saying, oh yeah, brain fog.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
That's like radiation poisoning. I think the whole
totally.
thing is like radiation poisoning.
It's like Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
It's like they're giving you Alzheimer's.
Yeah, they're sort of giving you like a temporary Alzheimer's, and then you sort of like get some fresh air or whatever, you snap out of it for a while, but then you get like these little things where you're like just kind of sort of zombified. And I think that's exactly intended. They want
Yes.
they want people to
Well,
be on
because
soma.
otherwise, people are going to start looking into the horrific things that are going on.
If people are too stupid or too drugged, which is what this is, somatized, they're not going to question things, and they're not going to look into stuff. They're just going to be too overwhelmed. Like it feels too overwhelming. It's just like whatever, I'm going to go play cornhole. So we do have to fight that and
You know
consciously
what,
be
though? They
aware.
also, I think that you're right, but there's also a lot of people speaking up because now they have people coming out and saying, we need to make laws that say you can't say stuff bad about that country from 1948. So there is a lot of people speaking up, but they're saying, let's try with more of the chemical, erase the memory. Let's try more of that.
Yeah. And I think, it just always makes me think about, Brave New World and the Soma, but the newer version, which would be the Giver.
Mhm.
everybody should watch that movie or read that book because it
Reveals the
seems,
method.
yeah, and it seems so accurate, where everybody in this perfectly planned little 15-minute city looks alike, dresses alike. Nobody drives a car, they all ride a bicycle, and before they leave the house every day, they all get a little injection of something, and it
And the
keeps them
one
from
kid who
feeling
doesn't
anything.
take it,
He stops taking it, and then he starts to have feelings.
he starts to have feelings, and then
Mhm,
he becomes the giver, right? He works with the giver
mhm.
and learns about history. So there's a connection between being somatized and being oblivious to history.
Yeah, forgetting about history. So I do think that that's revealing the method.
And look at how they're also erasing history.
Yeah,
They're not letting us know about history. Everything, pretty soon when you mention the American Civil War or the Revolutionary War, they're just going to gaslight you and say those never existed. And it's
totally.
illegal for you to say that.
Yeah. And they change history, so that's very gaslighting because then you're like, "Wait, what did I learn and which version is true? And how are we ever really gonna know?" You know?
They don't want you thinking stuff because they what was that video that we saw where they were talking about those people from that country from 1948 and how the one dude back in 1923 was like, we just need to basically exterminate the European race.
Mhm.
And the guy that started the European Union was full on like anti-white. And he's like, what we're gonna do is we're gonna import a bunch of third world barbarians, and through miscegenation, we're just gonna breed white out.
And isn't that what's happening?
It's totally done.
So, I was out to dinner last night at, this little sushi place, and it's a fairly decent sized restaurant, and I've been there a few times recently, it's kinda new. Um, And every time I've been there, I've been the only white person there. And last night it was packed. It was completely packed. Somebody was at every table inside and on the patio. And
Yeah, we live in a third world
I was
country
the
now.
only white person there.
Southern California is a third world country. It's not what it used to be. What we grew up in is gone. The
Yeah.
demographics have completely shifted. And now being white is full on like a liability
Yeah.
because
It doesn't help you.
it doesn't help you. And there's all these assumptions that, oh, well, you have white privilege.
There's
There's no
no
such
white
thing as white privilege
no.
anymore.
I remember when like we were in like college age years, I remember the whole thing about uh they had this push for like you know hiring people and accepting people into schools based on like their ethnicity. Like they had to get, what was it called, affirmative action?
Hmm.
And that was a big thing that they were like, oh, we have to give like special privileges. And I remember saying, well, shouldn't you like get into a school or be hired for a job because based on your merits, based on your skills and
That's racist if you say that.
your talents or whatever,
How racist of you say that?
yeah, but they were like, no, it's affirmative action. We have to give and I remember at the time thinking like
And
that didn't
that's
seem
an
fair.
insidious name, affirmative action. So
Yeah.
we affirm non-white people.
Yeah.
They're affirmed, and we have actions that we take that give them special treatment and special placements.
So I think what that move did was I think that was the beginning of what this whole thing has turned into.
Hmm.
I think, back then they were calling it affirmative action. And so they were giving priority to certain groups to get the jobs, to get the places in the schools, whatever. And now, all these years later, we're seeing what happened because of that. We're seeing
Well,
the fruits, the fruits that came from that, you know?
there's another phenomena that comes out of that. It's called white flight. Have you ever heard that term, white flight?
Hmm.
So, like, my dad, he went to high school in a town called Inglewood,
Mm,
right down there in the LA basin. And Inglewood, back in the 50s and the early 60s, was super nice.
mm.
It was a beautiful community, leafy,
Okay.
nice lawns. big, beautiful homes. If you ever driven through there, the homes are real old. They were built in like the 20s.
Some of those LA little like hamlets, if you want to call them, that like kind of became sort of
Little
ghetto areas.
sections.
Yeah, when you drive through, it's really interesting because you see all these beautiful, really old homes,
Totally.
and you realize that at one time that was probably a really nice neighborhood.
It was all white and it was all right. But now, dude, you don't want to go to Inglewood.
Mm-mm.
And what happened in Inglewood, that's a perfect example. That was one of the early examples of white flight.
Oh,
So when my dad went to Sarah High School in Inglewood, it was all white. There was nothing but white kids there.
mm,
Now he was so this was like 25 years ago. So we're like 25 years past this happening. It was all black. 25 years ago, his school went from when he went there in the early 60s. So he went there from 1960 to 1964, all white. By the time like the early 90s rolled around, all black.
wow, that's interesting.
And what happens is the white people have to leave because once it becomes majority black or brown, crime skyrockets, the schools become horrible, the property value plummets, you get trash everywhere, you get gangs everywhere, you get spray paint everywhere, businesses leave. So this whole process, it happens like clockwork, and the elites know it. So whites have to leave that area. So larger and larger swaths are becoming not really conducive to white life.
Mhm.
Kind of like what's going on in South Africa.
Yeah,
It's like third world barbarians and blacks, they'll take over an area and white people can't live there anymore.
that's so weird. Why, I wonder why that is. Like,
It's
it's
because
their
they
culture, I
have a
guess.
different way of life.
Yeah,
Blacks and browns, they have a different way of life. And I'm not saying that there's not cool people who are black and brown. I love a lot of black and brown people, but their communities are not conducive to white people living there.
right.
Remember Obama came out and he was like, it was actually Big Mike.
Oh, yeah.
It was Big Mike. It came out and was like, "Why y'all running away from us?" You remember that?
No.
It was like because Obama said, "No, we're not going to have any white neighborhoods anymore. We're going to ship black and brown people into those neighborhoods on purpose. We're going to make sure that we diversify every area in America."
He said that?
So basically, you're not allowed to have a white neighborhood anymore. But he can go live in a 99.9% white,
Right, right.
Martha's Vineyard, and
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
But we're not going to have white neighborhoods anymore.
I guess he was the black that got shipped into Martha's Vineyard.
hmm That's because he was groomed by the, who's from
Yeah.
the time he was a little kid growing up in Kenya. But anyways, he had a weird background too. His mom was like some porn star or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, did you ever see that?
No.
His mom was like some skanky white chick who like, back in like the 40s, she was like what's that?
Burlesque.
She was
Yeah.
like the pinup girl.
Oh.
She was like that, but even worse. It was like early porn.
Oh
I
wow.
was in early porn.
Maybe
So
that's why he only claims to be black, even though he's half white.
he's half white, but my
It's
mom was a
interesting
whore,
how
so we don't count her.
it's interesting, yeah, yeah, how some of them do that. Like Halle Berry, she's half white, but she only claims to be a black person.
She's kind of like what was the guy from the 49ers name? His name is
Oh, Kaepernicky
what was
or
his first name? Kaepernick. It was Colin.
yeah,
It's like, dude, there's no black dude named Colin.
no, no, Kaepernick or whatever his
But
last.
he wants to act like, yes, I was raised by two beautiful, wonderful white people who totally spoiled me rotten, loved me to death,
And I
and I grew
became
up
a huge superstar in
and
the
I became a
NFL.
huge superstar. I made millions of dollars. So the way that I give thanks and I'm grateful for that is I kneel down on the during the Star Spangled Banner. I
Hmm.
take a knee and I say how hateful and racist this country is.
Yeah,
because that's what I do. That's the kind of scumbag I am.
What a jerk.
Halle Berry, she's like, well, I'm in the culture club, so I need to push the idea that white people are need to be exterminated. So I don't want to admit that I'm actually half that, you
Yeah.
know. I just take my top off in Swordfish, and that's how I get big. That's how she became famous.
Was that it?
Yeah, she's
That
like,
was
I
her big
showed my
break.
boobs in Swordfish, and then I got more roles.
That was her big break.
Yeah, she's like, I sold my soul, but that wasn't enough. I had sex with what's his name? Harvey Weinstein. I
Oh.
had sex with Harvey Weinstein, but that still wasn't enough. I had to show my boobs. But so I think there's like this push to eradicate all whiteism
Mhm.
because white people have communities that are not conducive to the culture club plans.
It's true.
The white communities have good schools. Like if you look at like a 1950s neighborhood all across the country, you had white people who were middle class. They all had upward mobility. They could even become rich. You know, you could go start a hardware store, and if it was really good and you were really awesome, you could start a few more and become like the next Ace Hardware.
Yeah, maybe that's how that started.
Maybe that's how Ace started,
Yeah.
right? So there was upward mobility, but then also the people were informed, you know?
Yeah, and I don't think the culture club, they don't want upward mobility now. You can have upward mobility within like their corporations as long as you like, sell your soul and you jump through their hoops and do what you're supposed to do and be a triple M to the P, which is a mini megalomaniac micromanager,
No,
mini megalomaniac psychopath micromanager.
that's correct. That's what they are.
But they don't want upward mobility independently. So they don't want you to like go start a hardware store and then three others unless you then sell out and sell all your hardware stores to the culture club and they turn into
Yes,
like Amazon. That's the upward mobility that they'll allow.
because um, what I've noticed about the modern world is alignment is a prerequisite to existence.
Right.
You have to be aligned with the values of the culture club. If you don't align yourself with the values of the culture club, you are canceled.
Yeah.
So, and right now, that's kind of the gist of this episode. You don't really have any options.
Yeah.
If the culture club cancels you, you're kind of screwed now because we don't have any alternatives to their systems. They have the only system in town. In that system, you have to play their game.
Yeah.
So their system says, we don't want you to reproduce, and we do not want you to be white. So, Angelina Jolie's like third world barbarian tranny kid is perfect.
They love that.
And now I'm starting to see that's why Brad and Angie are in the news all the time,
Mhm.
is because
Oh, right.
they can keep
They
throwing those
they
stories
gotta
out.
keep putting that out there because they gotta show the example.
They're the
So
example.
other people will be just like them, you
And
know?
strangely, Brad and Angie are kind of role models still.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who still look up to those two.
I know, it's so weird, like, sometimes I'll read, if I see a post like that or something on Instagram, and then I'll go and check out the comments, and who was it I was reading about, the other day? Oh my gosh, I think was it Gwyneth Paltrow? I don't remember who it was.
Yeah,
It
she's
was
so
it
gross.
was so gross. It was one of those gross
She's the one that was like
stars.
all, you know what? I have an open marriage.
And she's like, "I sell candles that, smell like my vagina."
Smells like my
That's what
vagina.
I mean, how disgusting. But, anyway, it was somebody, I don't know if it was her or I think it was somebody else, but that's not really the point. I was looking at the comments and oh, it was Ryan Gosling.
He's Ryan
They were
Gosling.
showing remember how wasn't he the one that said he got oh no, that was somebody else who got discovered in a school play when he was 12.
No, that was Ethan
That was
Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
I was a knight in a play in my little Canadian town, and then things just really took off for me
And I
from there.
became a superstar. But I
Totally.
think Ryan Gosling's story is kind of similar. It was showing him in like this little dance recital when he was like 10 or 12.
What a little fact.
Yeah, he totally looked like that. And he was a really good dancer
So gay.
and like all these people were commenting and they were like, "See, he was just a superstar from the beginning and that's why he became so famous because he just worked really hard." And I kept reading the comments because I was like, "Surely somebody's got to be like, no, this isn't the way." And I finally get way down the list and somebody was like something similar to what we were thinking, but not quite as bad. But almost everybody was like, "Oh, look, you can just tell he was a star from the beginning." And one person wrote, "Oh, I went to school with somebody who became an A-lister, and you could just tell that person just had star quality from the time they were a kid." And
It's so organic.
I was like, "No, that's not how it works."
They're just organically famous.
Yeah,
They're big somebodies.
yeah, I mean, I know people when I was a kid who seemed like little stars too, and they never made the A-list. And I think, all the people on the A-list, yeah, of course, like a lot of them like are good dancers or they can sing or whatever, but they're on the A-list because they sold their soul. That's the
Totally.
only way to get there.
I always use the analogy like you can be an awesome guitarist. Let's say you're the baddest guitarist that's ever picked up a guitar,
Mhm.
and you're just sitting on the beach down at Venice Beach, just ripping and shredding. It's going to be kind of like that lady who was running for Congress. You'll have an
Yeah.
handler come up to you and say, "You're really good at guitar, and I really like the idea of you becoming the next big thing. We just need you to sign this waiver that says you'll do what you're told by your satanic handler,
Hmm.
and then we'll go ahead and make you a star." If that person decides that they want to have integrity, or they're a Christian, or they're not going to align with the culture club, they're never going to become anything.
No,
It doesn't matter how talented you are.
it doesn't.
It doesn't matter how much charisma you have.
Mm-mm. It doesn't matter how hard you work.
Hmm.
It doesn't.
And a lot of people have tried to go against the culture club and gotten killed,
Yeah.
you know?
I think a lot of those people that we hear about are people who actually they did sign they signed on the dotted line and then they regretted it. I think that's what happens.
Well, I think because once you sign on the dotted line for fame and fortune, I think, like you said, a lot of them are, they got a lot of charisma, they got a lot of talent, and they're affable. Ryan Gosling is affable. He's a likable dude, you know? Same with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I like watching movies with them. They're likable dudes, but they would be jack shit if they didn't sign their soul away.
Yeah, and for every Ryan Gosling or Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie or Jennifer Gardner, there's a million other people out there that are just as good, just as beautiful, just as handsome, just as
Totally.
talented. A million other people
I don't think
in this
Jennifer
world.
Garner and Angelina Jolie are sexy or attractive. I think both of them are lame.
Yeah.
I don't like Jennifer Garner.
I
That
mean,
chick, if she's in a movie, I don't want to watch it, dude. She's obnoxious. She reminds me of the one from Speed.
Sandra Bullock.
Ugh,
Yeah.
dude, I would rather get waterboarded than watch a fucking movie with her.
Well, that's my point is that, none of these people, these superstars are really that fantastic. If you take them out,
No, they're
if you
not.
take them out of the spotlight and just like put them out at like a grocery store, like in regular clothes and no makeup or
Totally.
whatever, they're just another person.
That's it.
They've been put up on these pedestals and they have like a whole team of people working around them. And that's not because they worked so hard or they're so beautiful or they're so talented because there's a million other people out there just like them or
That's right.
even more beautiful, more talented, more hardworking. But those people were selected and they signed away their soul and they got on the A list. And it wasn't because of their hard work or their talent or their beauty.
No, it's alignment.
Hmm.
Alignment is the number one thing. And alignment with depopulation
That's
and
one.
exterminate white people. That's so you have to be aligned with that agenda.
Well, look
Then
at
you get promoted.
how all of them just were totally aligned with the cooties fiasco. Did you hear
Totally.
any A-lister speaking out against it?
You saw Eddie Vedder going, dude, here's my mail-in ballot. I'm sending it in, bro, for
Yeah.
Biden.
And all of those people, posting their pictures of them like supposedly getting their cooties shot, whether they did or not, who knows? But
Wearing masks.
yeah, yeah. And like Jennifer Gardner, for one, I think her like transy daughter is still wearing a mask to this day. Like,
She's afraid of the Hanta now.
I don't know what
She's haunted by Hanta.
I don't know what she's afraid of, or if it's just her costume, that she wears to be
But it's
part of the
alignment.
scene. It's
Wearing a,
alignment.
wearing a mask is like,
It's alignment. They're all in alignment with the Satanic Culture Club.
that's their identity now, like Bob Marley.
Yeah.
When the interviewer asked him, he's like, tell me about your dreadlocks, Bob. And he's like, this, this is my identity. That's what they are like. That's
Yeah.
like when they put on their mask, that's their identity.
Hmm.
So they're totally aligning themselves.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to really be situationally aware of that. In
Right.
order to fight back, you have to understand that there's a cult and you have to genuflect to it in order to, and I don't think it's just be a big A-list star anymore. I think if you want to have a business,
Hmm.
if you want to have a family, if you want to thrive here on Earth, you are being forced to align.
Totally. Because look at like, so a business, for example, look at Amazon has basically taken over. You can get anything you want within 24 hours delivered to your door, sometimes even sooner. And they have a warehouse of everything basically. How are you going to compete with that as a business owner?
Oh no, you can't.
You know?
And I watched a thing, Amazon is predatory too. I watched
Yeah,
a thing
totally.
because this one dude, I can't remember what kind of a product that he had, but I talked about this in an episode we did previously where he made a really cool product and there was a lot of demand for it. So they were getting lots of sales. But he was selling them independently, but he found that he could find a much, much larger market and get exponentially more sales by using Amazon. But Amazon would tell him what he could charge for his own product, and they would reduce the price. And then Amazon also would take a chunk of that.
Yeah. And then who's to say that they wouldn't just knock it off and like make their own version of it,
They can do that.
you know?
And then the other thing they can do too is they can impose like let's say the dude has a social media and he goes, dude, I can't stand those people from that country from 1948. And now he loses his ability to sell in that marketplace.
Yeah.
So that's what they've done. They've created this scenario where in order to make money, you have to genuflect. In order to make any kind of money, you have to genuflect. And in order to be famous, you have to genuflect. And the genuflect is you have to adopt their values and you have to align with let's exterminate white people and get the population down to about 500 million.
And let's follow all their little rules and protocols and
Oh, yes,
mandates. Hmm.
totally. Like, that's why um, I am canceled because I went out on that corner in 2020 and you went out there too and we said COVID is a hoax. When you push back against COVID was a huge part of their agenda. It
Huge.
was huge. So when you push back against that, they just go, no, no, no. You're not
You're
allowed.
canceled.
You're canceled.
Hmm.
You're not allowed to participate in anything now. And I think that's what they're setting up. They're setting up with the digital currency, and through bribery of our Congress people and everything, they're setting up this situation where unless you align, you're canceled and you don't get to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
And they're really, kind of reaping and trickling that stuff in. I mean, I don't even know if you can call it a trickle anymore at this point, but the digital currency, like they're just gonna like force this at various, we've talked about how it's at like all the major sporting events and different various shopping areas. And I was just at a place yesterday where I gave my kid $20 and told him to go in and buy him and his friend an ice cream. And they came out a few minutes later and he said they don't take cash. And I'm like, that's just lame. Like how are little kids supposed to like go have some fun independently now anymore? Like your little child isn't going to have a credit card. You know what I mean?
They're gonna be like, excuse me, you can set up your bank information on their phone and they can pay with their phone.
Yeah, but I mean, what if you don't allow your kid to have a phone? They're kind of forcing you into this system, and all we can do is just push back and reject it. But what I think what we talked about in a previous episode, their their infiltration of our world and our life as we knew it, it has become so ubiquitous and so overwhelming that I think it's kind of like really hard to like fight it or push back. I think really the thing that we really have to concentrate on now is we have to have alternative choices and alternative,
Totally. I think
ways.
that's even downstream for what we need. Right now, the situation's so dire that the very first thing we need is people to stop taking a blue pill and acknowledge what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's the first step.
Because I think
Sure.
you tell some, like I was telling my bro about what's going on, he's like, I don't want to believe that.
Yeah. You got to get off your blue pill and you got to wake up.
Or like I went out to eat with my bro last night, my other bro, and he's like, dude, dude, just be patient. Trump is taking care of
He's
all
got it
this.
under control.
It says Israel's being held for last. And I'm like, well, that
So
doesn't make any sense.
we're just gonna keep suffering.
Yeah. So, they're going to be, when everything's ruined, that's when we're going to take care of them.
Yeah, just like how Trump did warp speed and some people had to die because, he had to like
And I was
get the
telling him that.
economy going again.
I was
Right.
telling him, I was like, dude, Trump pisses me off. He goes, get the shot. I got the shot. Get the shot. I saved millions of lives.
Mm.
And he goes, he didn't say that, bro. So that's the problem
Hmm.
is people don't want to come to terms with where we're at.
And like back to our point that we made at the very beginning, even when they do say that verbatim, people are like, they sort of just like they're in denial and they're like, oh no, he didn't say
Oh,
that
that didn't
or
happen.
he didn't mean it.
No, I'm not prepared for that information.
You took it out of context. I've
Uh,
heard that before from friends. You took that out of
it's
context.
out of
Well,
context.
I mean, those words did come out of his mouth, so am I supposed to believe that he didn't really mean it? You know?
It's kind of like if you get the mail and you see that there's an item of mail there that you don't want to look at. So you're like getting stoned and about to watch a movie and you're in a good mood. So you just put that mail somewhere and you're like, I don't want to deal with that bad mail because there's an item in there that says, oh, by the way, you owe this much money. So you don't want to deal with it.
So you just put it away.
So you just put it away and go get stoned and watch Netflix and then just tune it out. And I'm not saying I haven't done that. I'm speaking from experience. That's kind of what I do. So, but at least I'm like cognizant of it. You know what I'm saying? What they're doing now is they're going, no, no, that information just doesn't exist.
Yeah. Back to your mail analogy, this might actually be maybe something to think about for the bigger picture. Um, I once read that you should only look at a piece of mail once because it's a waste of your time to look at it twice. So, in other words, you get your piece of mail, you look at it, and you deal with it right there on the spot, and then it's done. And you don't file it, you don't wait for later, you take care of it. So, maybe that's what we need to do in life. We need to stop
Yeah.
pretending it's not happening and stop putting it away for later. And we need to like look at the problem and deal with it. We need to realize what the problem is and we need to take action.
It's kind of like white flight. There's eventually comes a time when you got to say, I can't live in this neighborhood anymore. I had to do that. I had to do white flight. I lived in a third world community in Newark, And it was like, there were a lot of cool people there. I loved a lot of them, but
You
it
got
was
your
all third world
empanadas.
people, huh?
You got your empanadas there.
I got my empanadas and the lady was cool. Remember,
Yeah,
I left my wallet accidentally. I went back there a week and a half and even the $60 was in there.
yeah.
But a dude got stabbed right down the street. There was all kinds of just degeneracy going on. Another dude got broken into and he lived right downstairs from us. And my daughter's going to school and she's playing on the playgrounds there and she's there all the time. And I said, I can't live here.
Well, that sucks that like the good people have to leave.
Yeah,
Like the bad people come in and take over and ruin it, and then the good people have to leave.
that's what
That's what
happens.
sucks is like
And
why
that's happening over
yeah.
and over
It
and
should be
over.
the other way around. Like we should be like making places better, and like not allowing that to happen, but somehow the bad people come in like cockroaches and
Totally.
they sort of just like they're like exponential, they come in, it's like not just one or two, it's suddenly like they just take over,
They totally do. And it would be like the analogy would be like if you live in a really nice house, you keep it clean, you keep your yard nice and tight, you trim your bushes, the garage is nice and organized, and everything's super clean, your backyard's super clean. Your neighbor has like 20 vaqueros living in it, and it's completely trashed and disgusting to the point where they can't even live in it anymore. And so they come over to your house and they move into your house and then they just start taking over your house.
and they park their beat up junkers on your
They start
grass and
making your grass gross.
start
Then slowly but surely they're making your living room gross. And then slowly but surely you can't live in your own home anymore
yeah.
because it's too gross. And their blech spilled into your
It
life.
seems like the gross stuff always seems to spread. It's like a
Totally.
cancer.
And I think it's being done on purpose. Like, so that's what that dude said about Europe. He was like, we're going to import millions of third world people into the country, into Europe, into the countries in
And
order to make it so that it destroys white people
what,
because they're not
yeah,
going to be able to go anywhere.
what he kind of said was that it was going to, uh, I forgot the word he used, but basically water down the community.
Miscegenation.
Is that what he said?
Miscegenation is interracial meetings.
So it was going to basically just sort of disintegrate the the white ethnicity that wasn't going to be there anymore. It was going to just be mixed, and then
It's going to be mixed.
eventually it'll just turn into third world people.
And then it'll just be third world people, and then it'll just be another third world country.
Hmm.
And that's what they want the whole world to become
Yeah.
because they want to have these elites, call them what you want to call it.
And then you know what they can do is what they want. They can have one world government because the all the third world people will they can't organize or keep things nice or you know make things work, so they have to have somebody telling them what to do and how to do it, and that's what the government wants.
Exactly. And they want that because they're not going to rock the boat. They're going to go along with the policies and they'll be able to exterminate them. Third world people are going to be quickly exterminated. I hate to say it by the elites because they don't question things. They don't rock the boat.
And the elites don't want them here. It's just they're a means to an end.
They're a means to an end. It's a destruction of the white people.
Right.
That's what it is.
And a destruction of independent cultures in different countries. So, they want that so that they can take over and just have the world for themselves, I think.
That's it. And then they rule
Yeah.
over everybody. That's the important thing.
And then they'll probably just, ship all of the third world people off to some corner of the world somewhere where they don't want
Oh
to
my
be,
God.
you
They'll
know?
exterminate the third world people so easily. They'll just corral them into their extermination ghettos and just exterminate them. Because third world people don't push back. They don't. They
Yeah.
just, if you give them what they want, they're not going to ask any questions. Like the Indian dude that comes here from India and he has to go and he gives shots to the dogs and the cats that they don't need.
Right.
And he gives them procedures that they don't need because that makes money and it drives revenue and he's got the quota. And so he's not going to say, you know what, I'm I'm compassionate and I don't want to give this animal this shot. They don't need this shot. They don't need this procedure. Then they're going to go, I'm sorry, but Dr. D, you're going to go back to India if you say that. And
Mm,
he'll be like, okay, never mind.
right.
That is okay. You just bring that cat over here and let me shoot him up. So, what is white pill?
White pill.
I think white pill on this one is we the like I was saying earlier, the first step is not even about organizing right now. We're going to have to get there. The first step is to get people to set down their blue pill
Yep.
because especially white people, they don't want to hear about this.
No.
They don't want to even think about
Put
this.
put away your flush the blue pills down the toilet
Totally.
and spread the word about what's going on because what we need right now, you're right. The first step is we need people to like get off the blue pill and wake up. So the very first thing is wake up.
Wake up.
So share our podcast.
Share our
Yeah,
podcast.
I mean because we're up against a really difficult situation. They don't want us talking and
They're not going to foist us
they're
naturally.
no and um you know if you have people in your life that should hear these messages, send them our episodes and also like you don't really have to say much. You could send an episode that might be maybe sort of more entertaining and maybe not quite as controversial. Like maybe our Antarctica episode has been very popular and it gets people thinking. So
Yeah.
I like to send that one to people that I'm not sure like how they're going to receive the message because people usually like to listen to that one and like they go, "Wow, I didn't know any of those things." So if you can get them to listen to one of those or maybe our dinosaur episode
And then listen to more.
and then maybe listen to one like this episode afterwards. It sometimes you gotta plant the seeds slowly.
I think so. And this might be too gnarly and somebody might be turned off, but they listen to something else that's more palatable and then ease in, kind of like when the hot tub's too hot. You ever sit in a
You
hot
gotta
tub
put
that's
your
too hot?
you
You
gotta
put your
put your
feet in
toes in
and you
first.
go, ow. And then finally you can muster up the courage to sit all the way in it.
You get used to it.
That's kind of our stuff. Ours is like a
Mhm.
hot tub.
Yeah.
You got to kind of ease into it. But I think even if you're
But
brown
once
and
you
black,
get in, it feels good,
totally.
right?
That's right. And even if you're brown and black, like some brown and black people might listen to us, especially me, and say, dude, I hate you. You're a racist. I'm not a racist, bro. I don't hate brown and black people. What I'm talking about is very real stuff. And they need to wake
Absolutely.
up to it
Well, you know
because
what?
the culture club is going to exterminate brown and black people. They're
Totally.
the
There
first
will
thing, it's
yeah.
white people first. But don't think that they're just going to exterminate the white people and just be like, you guys are wonderful.
They're
I just want to get rid of
well,
them.
the thing is they're using them as a tool. And
Totally.
I know, and I'm friends with a lot of brown people, and some of them are actually very aware of what's going on. And those people are not the problem. The problem are the third world people that are coming in. But the brown people that understand what's going on, the culture club wants to use people of those colors as a tool, but they can be a tool for this side too, which means they can share this information with people that relate to them and try to get them to wake up,
Totally. Yeah,
and
because everything's kind of being broken up intentionally by the media into tribalism
it
now.
is.
And so everyone's getting in their own groups, but that's not conducive.
No,
What's
because it's not, it shouldn't be like, you know, this color against that color or this group against that group. It's really basically all of us against
That's
the
what the
culture
fallen
club.
angels were telling the lady in the cult.
Yeah.
They were saying we want them to forget that they're all one and they're all connected to God.
Yeah.
So how do they do that? Is they have everyone get into their silo
They
of
get
their
us
racial group,
fighting.
you
So
know?
divide and conquer.
I don't want to be with a bunch of whites, dude. I mean, I am happy to be white because I love my white heritage and I love my white history. But white people today piss me off.
Yeah.
They're gross
Yeah.
because they're all blue pilled, tattooed, degenerate, immoral, bottomless pits.
Totally.
That's what white people have become.
Yeah.
And they all worship the freaking media and they all worship their stupid sports stars. And they're
Right.
all so preoccupied with their financial wherewithal and
I
their
know.
image.
Actually, like a lot of the Mexican people that I see and I know, like the ones that have like nice families and stuff, they seem a lot more wholesome than a lot of the like trashy white people that we know.
You know
You
why?
know,
Because
they're more into family values.
they haven't been manipulated. All they are is just used to just come in here, give them free stuff, because they know that the Latinos, just by virtue of them living their lives, is going to destroy white people.
Hmm.
So they don't really mess with them too much. But pretty soon they will.
Hmm.
That's why brown people need to wake up to the fact that, yeah, white people are under attack right now, but don't sit there and rest on your laurels thinking that that's good and let's just go ahead and destroy the white people because that culture club is satanic and they're going to come after you and they don't want you guys
They don't,
at all.
no, they don't want.
They go do tests like Bill Gates goes down to Africa and goes, "Come here, you
Oh
little black
yeah.
kid. Here, take this
He
vial."
he tests like his creepy like sick stuff on these little African kids like he's testing on rats,
Remember that one picture of him and he's
like trying to put squirt that stuff in the little black baby's nose.
oh my God.
It's
And the
so
kid's
awful.
face was so horrified.
Yeah,
First of all, he's being held by Bill Gates. That's got to be
I know.
horrifying.
Oh God.
But so the point is these elites don't care about black and brown people.
Mm-mm.
They use them like pawns.
Totally.
So it's
Yeah.
not going to work out good for you guys either. What we have to do is we have to all not align values wise with the culture club values.
Right.
You have to reject their values. In my opinion, you have to adopt Christian values. Christian values is you don't live in contention and rivalry. No one is punished for the sins of their ancestors. That's in the Bible. In the Bible, it says you don't punish a man for what his father did.
Right.
So you can't punish me for it. Maybe, but some people might think that there were sins that were committed by white people in the past. I just feel like slavery was just part of it was part and parcel of society back then. But nonetheless, white people get kind of blamed for our history.
Yeah, it's like we're supposed to like pay reparations for something that, people that we may or may not have even been related to like 200 years ago did. Like that doesn't even make sense.
Totally. And
Yeah.
it's like you don't punish a person for the sins of their father, whether they're real or conceived,
Right.
you know? So that's another thing. You don't adopt the values. If you're black, brown, or white, do not adopt the values of these elites. Keep Christian values, hold justice in your heart, and don't believe their scarcity notions that we have to depopulate. So I think that's the white pill
That is the white pill. That's a good one.
because they're forcing you to adopt their values and their worldview. And their values and their worldview are be a degenerate, immoral, bottomless pit on a blue pill while we exterminate you.
Yeah, I don't even think those are their values or worldview. I think those are just the
Agenda.
narrative to demonstrate their agenda because they want to take over the world.
And they say, look, adopt this. And
Hmm.
so people like Angelina Jolie, she does.
Hmm.
She goes, yeah, come here, sweetie. You're gonna dress like a girl today, even though you're a boy,
Right.
you know? And I'm gonna adopt like dude, she's kind of like Madonna. Like they went and
Yeah,
adopted a
she's
bunch
got
of
a
like
bunch of
third
kids.
world kids.
Yeah, they all do that. It's weird.
It's a virtue signal.
It is.
You
It's
know what it is? It's probably because deep in her heart, she's totally racist.
mm-hmm.
She probably hates brown and black people. So she adopted them just to kind of like look like
Yeah,
she's
look
not.
what I did. Aren't I a
Yeah,
good person?
I'm
Yeah.
so good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm dropping the Pitt name. And I think that's probably race. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're saying because Brad Pitt's a white dude, so part of his culture club agreement was you're going to become the white dude that gets attacked later on. Just be ready.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever, I got to be famous and I got to
I'm
do Fight
Brad
Club.
Pitt. It's probably not even his real name. Who knows?
No, I don't know. Anyway, any other white pills on this one?
White pill.
It's a white pill.
No, I think that was good. I think that was a good unpacking down that rabbit hole. That's a gnarly rabbit hole.
It's a gnarly one. It's pretty, the thing about that one is it's so sketchy that it makes people really want to take a blue pill.
It does, but you can't.
You can't.
You gotta just quit cold turkey.
You gotta quit cold turkey
Yeah,
because, eventually you're gonna have to deal with the situation
yeah.
or it's gonna get worse and
Hmm.
worse. Right now it's horrible.
We're teetering on the edge.
I'm rooting for cataclysm.
Oh my God.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.